Yeah, NHL camps have opened, and unfortunately, there's some real bad news. A couple of spots in the National Hockey League, and most of it swirls around goaltenders. Let's just talk about the situation in Vancouver. Surprise team last year, went deep into the NHL playoffs before it finally caught up to them. They are in camp without either of their goaltenders. Thatcher Demko is from San Diego, the star goaltender making mega money. He suffered a knee injury in the first playoff game. He never came back. He's indicated it is a unique muscular injury. He says they've canvassed through his agent and sports medicine people. They've not found a goaltender that's had this muscular injury. They don't know how to treat it, and he's not healthy. And here we are, a couple weeks out from the start of the NHL season, and they don't have him. And they don't have the hot young goaltender who backed him up, Artur Siljovs. He suffered a knee injury, had a scope procedure. He's not ready to start the season. So suddenly Vancouver, which has undergone a bunch of changes also because of the salary cap. Rick Tocchet is not going to have the same team that finished up last year. Suddenly Vancouver's got all kinds of problems in goal, and you can't go get a star goaltender at this late date, and they got salary cap issues. So not a good time in the Pacific Northwest. And this is a really bad story in Las Vegas. The Las Vegas Golden Knights, who've been just a tremendous expansion team, went Stanley Cup Finals and all that. Their top money goaltender, Robert Lehner, did not show up to take his physical. Lehner, according to management, is, quote, unfit to play. They said that publicly. Lehner's had mental health issues. Lehner had a hip surgery. There were complications. Lehner is in bankruptcy, $27 million in debt. Lehner made one comment: we are working through the union to solve this. But Las Vegas over the weekend says this player who's making like $5.8 million a year, this player is unfit to play, not just physically, but mentally. And now obviously $27 million in debt. So NHL exhibition games are this week. We start the season in just a couple of weeks. Got some teams with trouble in goal.
Wow, those are tough stories. I mean, we had talked a little bit about, the goalkeeper in Vegas that was going through the bankruptcy, but I'm thinking about it from the perspective of a young player that's like wants to be an up and coming, wants to get to the NHL, and they would give their left nut to get into the NHL. And here's a guy that the rest of his life is sort of unraveled, and that, it would make it difficult, not for just for him, but for young guys seeing that and seeing like, how could that possibly happen? Because you think if you made the NHL, your life is wonderful and everything is great, but it clearly isn't. The keeper up in Vancouver sounds like you, with a mystery illness that the doctors can't figure out.
That's your Demko. Yeah, I mean, that's a self-made guy. He's from Scripps Ranch, and he has worked really hard to get to be a star. He's making beaucoup bucks. And this flukish injury in the first playoff game that he played, and they can't solve it. It's some type of muscular thing in the back of the knee. And of course, always surgery is always a last resort for him and for me. And that's tough. And suddenly Vancouver, which was a surprise team in the Western Conference playoffs last year, they're kind of running into a wall. And here we are 2 weeks from the start of the season, and they got injuries. They just lost a player who had underwent emergency testicular cancer surgery.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, I mean, they lost some players to free agency in the offseason off defense that left. Just unfortunately for Rick Tocchet, who's a really good coach, they don't have a roster full of players now in Vancouver. So it bears watching as we go every week, Mondays and Thursdays. We'll peek inside the NHL notebook. So we got a lot to talk about. Now it's your turn.